What's going on with everybody today? This K.I. back at it from Jersey Roulette Records. And today we switching it up a little bit. We're talking about movies, film, streaming services. A lot of people know that I make music, or I used to make a lot of music. I got the record company. I'm gonna talk a little bit more about that in the future. But I want to talk about how I use that record label and the LLC to back up my film production stuff, making movies, writing scripts and all that. And a lot of people hit me up and was like, yo, how do you get that movie? Which you can see right here. This is a Sick Twisted Revenge. Y'all could go check it out. It was filmed and directed by me and a couple other talented people. But getting this on streaming platforms, Tubi, Amazon, and all that right there is where, you're gonna need a little bit of luck and you're gonna need some skill. So that's what we're gonna talk about. And I'm gonna give people some examples, some pointers, and I'm gonna give y'all some tips so y'all stick around to the end. Now, this film right here, it took me about 5, 6 days to film it. You know what I mean? Had to get everything together. When you're shooting these films, you want to kind of record and you want to document all the locations. You want to document everything because the more your documentation look like when you get people to sign that where you shot it at, that's going to be a better chances for you to get on better streaming services. Before I didn't know that. But, when you got your stuff documented right, this is when them big streaming platforms like Tubi and all them, they're going to put you all on. So you got to make sure your documentation is right. That's number one. Number two, you definitely got to make sure you got a good camera. You know what I mean? I know y'all be looking at a lot of movies on Tubi, and the footage be looking crazy, be looking overexposed and all that. But they still be having good cameras. It's just the person that edited it, they don't know what the hell they be doing. But you gotta have you an 8-bit and better camera. Most of these streaming platforms now, they're looking for 10-bit. You know what I mean? So 8 to 10-bit camera that you gotta be working with. Make sure your lighting is right, and from there you're good to go. Number three, your sound. If your sound is all off, these streaming people they might look at it and then they're just gonna keep it moving. You know what I mean? And how it works is like, for example, I use this platform right here to get my movies out. This right here is Film Hub, and they basically go through your movie. They're gonna edit it. They're gonna QC it to make sure it meets all the qualifications for you to see if your movie even qualify to go on these streaming services. They're gonna be the ones in charge of it. So if your sound is like this, your music your film gonna be sitting up in there, and nobody never gonna look at it. They ain't never gonna do nothing with it. So you definitely got to make sure your sound quality is definitely up to date. You got to do all these different things. Nice camera documentation. You got to make sure your sound is up to date. If you can get those right there running smoothly, 9 times out of 10 you might be okay. You still got to have a good storyline, good topic. You got to have some good pictures, a good title, because the title is how people find these movies. You got to make sure it's in a good genre, drama, all that good stuff. Other than that, ain't nobody never gonna find your movie. But we don't care about that. We're talking about how to get it on the streaming platform. So once you do all that, you get your movie edited. Now it's time. You definitely gonna have to copyright it, copyright the name, put that documentation up in there. Because when you submit your movie, it's gonna be folders that they're gonna be asking you to submit certain things into. So when they ask for that documentation, you want to put all that stuff in your documentation. They might ask for contracts, you put it in there. Put everything up in there because, like I said, when these streaming companies are shopping for your movie, they're going to be looking at that. And when your stuff is set up right, those is going to be the ones they likely to throw on their streaming platforms. That way you could let it be seen and make you some money. You know what I mean? So those are basically the things right there that you got to do. And then there's different distributors that you can go to put your movie on. Like, for example, I went to Film Hub. Film Hub is pretty decent. You're still going to have to pay some money if you don't got your closed captions. You're going to have to pay them to do your closed captions. You're going to have to pay them $500 to QC your film, because if you let them do it for free, it's just going to be sitting for months. I done heard people try to do it for free, and they QC they film in 10 months. So just go ahead and pay that $500. That way they could take your film, QC it, and then they're gonna throw it up on the list. That way, when people looking for it, you know what I mean, they're gonna license your film to them. So basically, all them things that I ran through is how you get your film ready to be submitted onto them licensed to be submitted on them channels. Now, as far as making sure that it go on Tubi and making sure that it goes on Netflix and all that, there's no really way that anybody can make that happen. You know what I mean? The only way you can make that happen is that you got to follow all them steps that I said. And once your movie is official, then they're going to shop it. And if they like it, they're going to put it on their platform. So, for example, my movie right here that I just came out with, Sick Twisted Revenge, been out for about 3 or 4 months, maybe a little bit longer. I only 2 licenses. That's all I got. I got Future Awesome Today TV. Then I got on another one. I forget the name of it. But like I said, y'all can check it out on Future Today TV. And the thing is that that's still a great streaming service too. A lot of people stream on it. A lot of people have been streaming it. And like I said, it could be a license on Tubi at any given day. You know what I mean? So it just depends on how well it's doing, how people is taking to it. You know what I mean? And as we speak, they are still shopping that movie to other different platforms, so anybody could pick the movie up. It just depends on if the movie is good or not. So that's it. That's all you have to do. You got some companies out there that you can work directly with, and they're distributing companies that try to take the film and distribute it to specific streaming platforms that you want. But it's very expensive. Sometimes it'd be a lot going on. A lot of people like to use Film Hub. I like to use Film Hub, you know what I mean? But it's still a lot to learn, you know what I mean? But that is how you get your movie on Tubi, Amazon, and all the other streaming platforms. So that's about it, you know what I mean? Stay tuned. I got a whole lot of different videos coming on how to make the movie, cameras, you know what I mean? All different type of things. If y'all like this video, hit the like button, subscribe. If you got any questions that I can answer as far as dealing with these movies, scripts, putting it on streaming channels, hit me in the comments. I have no problem with answering them. And then until then, I'll see y'all in the next video.